G'day. Just out in the bush and I'm doing a bit of carving. Now I'm just applying the principle of busy hands, quiet mind. So whichever way you want to practice your carving, whether you're just making tools for the camp or you're just using a knife generally, it's probably a pretty good idea to know how to use your knife. I see some pretty crazy things as a survival instructor with people wielding knives that probably shouldn't be wielding knives. So it's part of my job to educate them so they are a little bit more safe to themselves and to those around them. One of the things I see a lot is when people are sitting around campfires particularly, is this type of classic pushing the knife away. As the knife becomes more blunt, that becomes more of a problem because people need to use more force. They're not slicing the wood away anymore, they're pushing and tearing. And as a consequence, when someone steps over them to put a log on the fire, it can be a dangerous situation. So one way of getting around that is to bring the whole work and the knife close to your core, to the center of your body, so center of gravity. And a good way of doing that is to actually turn the blade away and lock it against your upper body. And it looks dangerous because you've got this knife waving next to your face, but you're actually anchoring it in one spot and it's close in, so you've got good control. Using much more energy efficient mechanisms to get this work carved up the way I want to carve it up. Going into survival mode, this is important. This consumes a lot of energy. This consumes less. Simple as that. And survival, that paradigm, is all about balancing energy and hydration and temperature. So if I'm moving the work here, I'll lock the back of the blade or the butt of the blade against my chest and I move the work as opposed to the knife. Now to still try and slice the timber away. This is a hardwood that I'm using here. I'm just making up a set of clapsticks for my little girl. So it's quite a lot of force I've got to put in. I'm using a combination of the blade being anchored against my chest and my thumbs opposing and pushing against the back of the blade. So it's a tearing cross action, and as a consequence I can put a lot of muscular strength into that action without moving the dangerous part, which is the blade, around too much. Simple? I think so. If I'm stripping the bark off a piece of wood like this, that's where again you see a lot of this type of action. People trying to speed things up. If you again either lock the blade against the knee, you can actually pull again the work away from the blade, which makes it a lot more efficient, a lot easier in your hands. Now I'm often surprised by how little people think about their hands until they've been in the scrub for a few days, and then they discover that they get blisters, they get little nicks and scratches and splinters. You have to protect your hands, they're part of your fundamental survival kit. So I'm going to keep cutting up this one, but before I go, I often get asked, how do I cut a piece of wood in half with the knife? So one of the easiest ways I found, and this works with green or dry wood and up to about 1 inch in diameter or so, is just to carve with that same technique. So knife's under control, using my thumbs and my hands, carve a notch one way, like you're making feather sticks, then reverse it and cut back down into it. So you essentially have carved a notch around the middle of the stick. You've made a weak point. And then we just break it. We don't have to cut all the way through. In fact, we want to avoid doing that even if we're using a saw, because it just wastes more energy, bluntens the tool faster. So it's all about energy efficiency. That's what bushcraft teaches us, to be efficient, to be adaptable, and to be efficient. Have a good day. Whenever you're out doing nothing, whittle a stick. See you later.